to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Blanchfield versus Barber. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So in our first fight, let's scroll down. We have, in the women's strawweight division, we got Rayanne Dos Santos versus Alice Ardelean. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Rayanne Dos Santos to beat Alice Ardelean. Ardelean, I just feel like, in her UFC fight, I don't feel like she's such a bad fighter. I don't feel like she's such a great fighter, but I feel like this fight she could win. I feel like her previous fights were fights she could win. But I just feel like it's a lack of urgency. It seems like fights she's in, but she's never given an extra push. Rayanne Dos Santos, in her last fight, I think it was Puja Tamar. It was a fight that could have went either way. I picked Puja won. I'm happy for that at that time. But it was a fight definitely, Rayanne Dos Santos was still pushing through the end. Like, she was pushing through the fight. She's younger. It's not like Ardelean might look like she's 45, but she's only like 32, so she's still a young enough fighter. But again, the urgency just has not been there, and it's also not like she's the most skilled fighter. But again, she definitely can make this an interesting fight. But I say Rayanne Dos Santos by decision here. I think she'll be pushing it more. I think she's the more technical fighter. I think she'll mix it up better and have the cleaner output and more output, especially in the crucial rounds and the crucial minutes. She'll be pushing, whereas I cannot trust Alice Ardelean to push in a fight at this level. So, in this one, I got Rayanne Dos Santos via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division, we got Markel Mederos versus Bolaji Oki. And how do I feel about this one right here is I'm going low confidence Bolaji Oki to beat Markel Mederos. And yeah, Bolaji Oki is a solid fighter. Both these guys are real solid fighters. Both these guys still could go and have great careers regardless of who wins this or who loses this. But yeah, Mederos might have not lost in the UFC yet, but I have not been impressed with his last two performances. He went barely got past Hubbard. Barely got past Hubbard. That should have been a showcase fight for him to dominate. This other fight, he went there with solid talent, but I feel like in that fight prior, it wasn't a split decision like the Hubbard fight was. But I feel like that was a fight that he was even closer. And I feel like even though I picked Mederos to win, I feel like he arguably lost the fight. He's getting outstruck. And Mederos is pretty much one-dimensional. I feel like he has shown any great offensive grappling or wrestling. I think Bolaji Oki might actually be the better wrestler here. I'm not saying that's going to be his approach. I think Oki has more power, better boxing of the two. More power, better boxing. And I see this being a close competitive scrap, but I think Mederos' Lux runs out of here. I said Lux run out of here. I don't know what language I'm speaking, but I think his Lux. I said Lux. Why can't I say I keep adding S that don't need to be there. I think his luck runs out here. Close competitive fight. I think Oki's going to land more damage. Give him more takedowns. Not by a whole lot. Maybe 2 takedowns to 1 or 2 takedowns to zip. Something like that. Or 1 takedown to zip. But a very close competitive fight. But Oki landed a heavier shot and being the more consistent fighter. And again, Mederos not getting the lucky nod for the 3rd time in a row. So he's on a 2 streak of lucky nods. But I think his luck runs out here. And I think Oki takes it. So in this one, I have Bolaji Oki via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the lightweight division. We got Jordan Leavitt versus Kurt Holobaugh. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Jordan Leavitt to beat Kurt Holobaugh. Let me make my audio not even all the way up. But yeah, it is what it is. But yeah, average confidence Leavitt to beat Holobaugh. Jordan Leavitt is like 28, Holobaugh is like 38, so like a 10-year youth advantage on Leavitt's side. And to get to the point, the biggest issue with Holobaugh in his recent fights, and really all of his UFC losses right now, well, the ones since he returned and since he won Ultimate Fighter, has been his big issues has been he's been getting taken down by grapplers, and he's been struggling to get up. And I think Leavitt is, about matter of fact, I would say Leavitt is just as good, if not better, than as far as grappling wise, than like Hernandez, Ogden. Again, the guy that's still 28, still getting better, versus 38-year-old guy who probably got these old hips and can't get up once he gets taken down. So I think Leavitt can take him down, probably even sub him. I'll say decision. Like I think Leavitt will mix it enough on the feet. Be able to get the takedowns, and I think Holobaugh will struggle to get back to his feet if he even is able to get back to his feet. And if he is able to get back to his feet, I don't think he'll be able to do it consistently. And I can see Leavitt consistently getting into the ground and consistently piling up huge control time and just grinding out Holobaugh to a decision here. So in this one, I got Jordan Leavitt via decision. Now to our next fight we have in the welterweight division, we got Holobaugh Elliot versus Ramiz Brahimaj. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going Elliot, average confidence to beat Ramiz Brahimaj. I think Elliot has better takedown defense, better offensive takedown work. And I think he's a much cleaner striker. And I think he'll be able to pick apart Ramiz Brahimaj on the feet. That's pretty much what it is. I think Holobaugh Elliot is just a better fighter. I like his style here. I like his improvement. I like his evolution. I think he's only going to get better. Again, he has shown good takedown defense. He has shown good takedown offense, shown a good war-round skill set. I just think he's just a much better fighter overall. And again, I think he can shut the takedowns down, and I think he's just on a different level as far as the striking. And I see him stopping Ramiz Brahimaj via second round TKO. So in this one, I got Holobaugh and Elliot via second round TKO. Now to our next fight. We have in the women's bantamweight division, we got Vieira versus Macy Chiasson. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Macy Chiasson to beat Vieira. I feel like Vieira never really had any type of IQ or any type of anything. She kind of just plods forward, just swings big shots. Really no skill at all into anything she does, no rhyme or no reason. I think Macy Chiasson is a much more polished fighter. You always got to respect the power of Vieira and the physicality of Vieira. That could come into play. But I think she has a point in her career where she's not evolving or doing much of anything else. And Chiasson is still evolving, still hungry, and starting to lock in. I think she can mix in the takedowns well, mix in the striking. Just mix in a good game plan of strikes, a mixture of striking and grappling, wall and stall, as Holly Holm was able to do. Then mix in, try to chain wrestle, get some takedowns. And then just out-grind Vieira here. Again, Chiasson just a smarter fighter, more cerebral fighter, better overall skills. Vieira just got that physicality, and I think if Chiasson can game plan for that well, I think she should be able to thrive here and beat Vieira, maybe even stop Vieira. But I say a close competitive decision with Chiasson, again, having the brain, the mindset, knowing when to go for takedown, getting that control time in crucial moments where Vieira just going to be doing the same thing she did in the first round. In the third round, just a lot tireder. That's pretty much it. Where Chiasson going to be thinking and making adjustments, and that's going to be the big difference here. So, in this one, I got Macy Chiasson via decision. Now, to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, we got Andreas Gustafsson versus Jeremiah Wells. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Andreas Gustafsson to beat Jeremiah Wells. I think Gustafsson would do a good job of addressing the wild, off-the-wall style of Wells. That's where Gustafsson thrives well. Wells like that distance explode and hit you with big stuff. But I think Gustafsson can get him to clinch, make it a dirty inside fight. Like when Wells try to explode with stuff, do a good job of, catching, tying him up, knee him to the body, doing elbows, and just wearing down Wells and making him pay for that uneconomical style. See Wells trying to go for big explosive takedowns, getting them, but Gustafsson getting back to his feet. It's all in all just making Wells work, making Wells pay for his wild style, and then just breaking him down, knees to the body, elbows, and I see him stopping Jeremiah Wells in the second round. So in this one, I have Andreas Gustafsson via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the flyweight division, we have Nascimento versus Filho. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Filho to beat Nascimento. I think both of the guys are real solid grapplers. Yeah, very solid grapplers on both sides. But I think the grappling could cancel out, and I think Filho is just a much more lethal striker. I feel like Nascimento has not really shown too much striking. He has shown some good skill, but so has Filho. And Filho packs much more power, and he's much more hungrier, and he has much more fight in him on the feet. So skill-wise, Nascimento low-key might have a little more skill on the feet, but all in all, pretty even. Grappling could be a little bit even, but who hits harder? Filho. Who's gonna push the pace on the feet? Filho. Who's been a little bit more active? Filho. So I think neither of them have really been all that active. I think Filho has been fought more recently. I can't even think of the last time Nascimento fought. But yeah, I think Filho will do a good job of addressing grappling and then just pressing Nascimento and cracking big shots. And I see a second round TKO for Filho. So in this one, I have Filho via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Zach Reese versus Dusko Todorovic. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Zach Reese to beat Dusko Todorovic. If Reese wasn't coming off a knockout loss, this would be average confidence Reese, but it is what it is. So low confidence Reese to beat Dusko Todorovic. I just feel like Dusko Todorovic hasn't really shown me anything. Reese at least showed me something. Like he looked good on the feet against Osman Bakoyev. Bakoyev had to take him to the ground. His other loss, he got slammed, but yeah, Reese is a big, tall fight, like 6'4", good reach, good build, good athleticism, maybe a little bit chinny. But Todorovic is going to be a smaller, less athletic man, and he also is chinny. And he has been getting stopped and starched in pretty much every single fight. And I think Reese, with his length, his speed, his athleticism, he's just a better overall fighter. I got to worry about the grappling a little bit there, but I think he'll be okay against Todorovic. And I think he'll be able to find those big shots and put Todorovic away in the first round. So in this one, I got Zach Reese via first round TKO. All right. Next fight we have in the light heavyweight division. In our first fight, our second fight on the main card, we have Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopes. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Dustin Jacoby to beat Bruno Lopes. And yeah, Jacoby's without doubt the better fighter, better conditioned fighter, and he has pretty solid takedown defense as well. He has good submission defense, good scramble ability, good ability to get back to his feet. It's not like Bruno Lopes is such this amazing grappler, I don't think. So I think Jacoby will do a good job of addressing grappling, do a good job of picking apart Lopes at distance. And when Lopes try to go for takedowns, I think Jacoby will do a good job of getting underhooks, digging knees to the body, spinning around, letting elbows in the clinch. And I'll say third round TKO for Dustin Jacoby. I think it'll be to break Lopes down over the fight, make him pay and make him work for every single day. And this one, Lopes is not really able to have success, start to break down over the course of the fight. I think Jacoby's going to start to stalk him, pick him apart, and put him away in the third round. So, in this one, I have Dustin Jacoby via third round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, we got Seok Hyun Ko versus Billy Ray Goff. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going, let's see, back to Cali is first, was what I'm doing. But I'll go Seok Hyun Ko. They're pretty much kind of similar fighters. Neither of them are particularly tactical this, tactical that. But Seok Hyun Ko got a whole country on his back. He's been training well. He's been trying to train with this fighter, train with that fighter. Been all over America, the whole American tour. And I think he's just slightly more tactical, has slightly more purpose, and I feel like he can elevate. I feel like Billy Ray Goff, I feel like he's too comfortable in who he is and is not trying to evolve as a fighter, where I feel like Seok Hyun Ko is trying to evolve. And I do feel like Seok Hyun Ko has a, what am I going to say? Again, they're very similar. You can say this guy like this guy, but what I would say is they're like Billy Ray Goff is the American version of Seok Hyun Ko, and Seok Hyun Ko is the Korean version of Billy Ray Goff, in my opinion. Like, honest opinion, I feel like they're very similar. So why not go with underdog who has more behind them and more to push? And I'll say this is all-out war, and I say it goes to a decision. Like a crazy all-out war that goes to decision, probably like a split decision, but Seok Hyun Ko gets his hand raised. So in this one, I got Seok Hyun Ko via decision. So yeah, via decision. His name might be KO, but I see a decision here. Could be a KO. Definitely something to play, definitely something to look at, but I see a decision. All right, co-main event we have in the lightweight division. We got Mateusz Gamrot versus Todorovic Klein. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going, again, back to Cali. Low confidence, Todorovic Klein to beat Mateusz Gamrot. I think Klein has phenomenal takedown defense, very good hips. He has shown amazing takedown defense. Gamrot will push and, find a way to try to make it work. But I think Klein will do a good job of defending takedown. I think he'll do a good job of scrambling. And I think this will be a very close, competitive fight. But and another thing that Gamrot has been a trend, he's getting dropped like every single fight, win, lose, or draw. Got dropped multiple times by Armand, got dropped by Hooker, got dropped by old RDA, he got dropped by, again, whoever, this name of fight, he got dropped by them. Every single fight, he gets dropped. So that's a big factor. Klein can do a good job of stuffing the takedown. He'll be able to find and crack Gamrot on the feet, drop maybe once or twice in the fight. But a good scrappy fight back and forth. But Klein doing a good job of addressing the grappling, landing the bigger shots, scoring at least one knockdown in a close competitive fight. And Gamrot just being on the wrong side of a decision yet again. And this time, Klein get his hand raised. Again, good takedown defense, great hips. The more versatile striker and the sturdier fighter will be able to catch Gamrot, hurt him, and edge him on the decision here. So in this one, I have Todorovic Klein via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division. In our main event, we have Erin Blanchfield versus Maycee Barber. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Maycee Barber to beat Erin Blanchfield. I think Maycee Barber is like career wise in MMA long and MMA calculus things in the MMA calculus of things and the MMA styles of things and the styles make fights of things. I do like the angle on Maycee Barber here, and that's why I'm picking her. Maycee Barber has a pretty good record against grapplers. That's what Blanchfield. She might think she's a little bit of striker, but her striking is not that good. I think Barber is a better striker. I think she's much faster. I think she's bigger, stronger. Blanchfield is a better grappler. But again, Barber has, whether you agree with the wins or not, she has been pretty good against grapplers. I think she only lost like one fight to a grappler, and that was early on in her career. Since then, she's probably like 5-1, or you could say since then, don't include that fight, she's like 5-0, 4-0, 3-0. So she's been pretty successful against grapplers. And it's not like Blanchfield did so well against Rose Namajunas. She was getting tooled up by Rose Namajunas, but Rose Namajunas had been having this pattern of kind of this dipping off in fight. Like she'll look good and great for 3 rounds or 2 rounds, and then her work rate just drops. Like who she fought? She fought Hebus. She won that fight. She dipped. Like she was dipping in that fight in the later rounds. It made it way too close in the later rounds. She looked great through the first rounds, and then like the final rounds, she looked like where you at? Against Tracy Cortez, she knocked Tracy Cortez's eyelash off, and then in the later rounds, she allowed Tracy Cortez to win some rounds in later rounds. Like she was not like she just did that against Blanchfield. It was a pattern. Again, she was tooling Blanchfield, out striking her, out grappling her. Then in later rounds, third, fourth, fifth, she's like, where you at? Like her work rate just completely dropped. So that happened in the Hebus fight for Rose Namajunas. That happened in the Tracy Cortez fight, and that happened in the Blanchfield fight. So that's like 3 fights in a row, at least 3 fights in a row. And Macy Barber, if anything, her pace upticks as the fight goes on. So I think she'll go do a good job of stuffing the takedowns of Blanchfield, cracking her big shots, and breaking down Blanchfield, stuffing her takedown, and having a fight. This is her moment. She's not a former champion and sitting back on like I'm already had 5 belts and I'm already one of the greatest of all time. Like she's trying to get here. She's been slept on. She was a big prospect at one point. People doubting her again. This is a spot for her to shine. She's been calling her shot for Rose Namajunas. She's been calling out Shevchenko. She's not coming in here to look dead. And I don't feel like Blanchfield had looked so improved. If anything, I feel like Blanchfield has stagnated. Whereas I feel like Barber is hot on a hot streak and more motivated than ever. Again, I think she'll do a good job of addressing grappling. I think she's a bigger, more physical fighter. I think she'll do a good job of defending the takedown and then use her physicality to bully Blanchfield around, crack her big shots. Eventually, I see her stopping Blanchfield, hurting and stopping Blanchfield in the 3rd round via TKO. So in this one, I have Macy Barber via 3rd round TKO. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the full card fight. Well, since I got a little bit of time, I'm going to run through the fights again real quick, since I got some time. But yeah, first fight I had Randall Santos, low confidence to win by decision. Second fight, Bolaji OK by decision, low confidence. Third fight, Jordan Leavitt via decision, average confidence. Over Elliot via decision, via 2nd round knockout, average confidence. Macy Chiasson via decision, low confidence. Andreas Gustafsson via 2nd round TKO, low confidence. Filho via 2nd round TKO, low confidence. Reese via 1st round TKO, low confidence. Dustin Jacoby via 3rd round TKO, low confidence. Seahawk Cole via decision, low confidence. Klein via decision, low confidence. And last but not least, certainly not least, I have Macy Barber via 3rd round TKO, low confidence. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC Fight Night, Blanchfield versus Barber. And as always, thanks for watching. Peace.